Hey, I'm Bubba.
And I'm John.
We use our questionable and sometimes traumatic childhood experiences to hopefully become better parents.
We might not succeed,
But listen,
they're fine.
we're back after a long break. We're here again, John. It's been some time. We were some catching up.
Both on vacation separately.
With
Not
children.
together.
With children.
With children, but separate from each other.
Which is more of a trip.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. You're parenting in a new location.
Yeah.
Right?
Without all your stuff. Yeah. So you have to go get those. You have to get more of the stuff and pay premium dollar for it in a vacation town.
Yeah, wherever you are. You end up at a Walmart or
you're getting salt.
Target.
Or like a specialty grocery store.
Where did you guys go on vacation?
We had 2 vacations. The Lord planned it well because my wife Jenna is a labor and delivery nurse, and she had to speak at a conference in a little town called Orlando, Florida.
Oh.
And so we stayed at a resort, which I have never been to a resort. It's kind of like a cruise ship, but parked.
Okay.
I had a show I'm working on, so I just literally went in the pool, rode in the hotel room, went to the gym and the sauna. They had like a spa sauna, and I did like a little pass. Got to schwitz every day. It was great. Came back for one day.
Wait, are you allowed to go to Orlando and not go to Disney World?
I don't know if you're technically allowed to. We did on the last day go to a water park, just her and I, which I have not been to a water park.
You went to a water park just with your
just
wife,
me
no
and my
children.
Wife. No children. Because I was like, maybe if I get all my work done, I want to reward myself. And I thought, maybe it was Wyatt. Somebody told me, go to Universal Studios, Florida. It's so good. And I was going to go, but it was like, I wouldn't have been able to go till like noon. And it was like, I'm going to pay $200 to, I didn't even know what to ride. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But I love a water park, and I was going to go by myself, but
To
I was
the
like,
water, that's so sad.
nothing looks more like a pedophile than just a sad guy by himself at a water park. Like,
No, that's like when you try to
floating
go
in
to
a
like,
wave pool.
yeah, if you try to go to some of these places for kids and you don't have a kid, they won't let you in, right?
Yeah.
They'll be like, where's your kid?
God, we went, before the trip, we went to Chuck E. Cheese's. Oh my God, that place is horrible.
Yeah, it's really gone downhill.
It was some like end of the school year thing, and we got some of the moms, many moms, because they're all lesbians together. And I pitched going to that place you recommended, which was John's Incredible Pizza.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's got to be a leg up, but I had no idea the depravity of the Chuck E. Cheese.
So, yeah, we're really going down our rabbit hole already. We got to get back to vacations.
Okay.
But Chuck E. Cheese's, I feel like when I was a kid, Chuck E. Cheese's was pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I was like, this is not like trashy at all. Like, it was great. I remember the animatronics being fun.
Yeah.
And like there was all sorts of activities. We went back maybe like a year or two ago. Our in-laws help with basically our childcare during the week when Catherine and I are at work. And over the summer, you can get like a summer pass for Chuck E. Cheese's. And it's like, I don't know, it's probably 15 cents. Like, I don't know how much it costs. Yeah. It's very inexpensive. And then you can go to Chuck E. Cheese's all summer and like unlimited on all the games and all the things. Right. And so they did it. And I was like, oh, that's great. They're doing it with the kids. And then I went with them towards the end of the summer. I think this was last summer. And I was like, this is where you've been coming all summer?
This disgusting place.
Like, the pizza's disgusting.
It was so bad.
Everything's dirty.
We went and it was like 6 o'clock, and I guess I asked somebody and they were like, it's a change of shift because the kitchen was like destroyed. They were out of everything. All the tables were filthy. There was trash everywhere. There was a huge line of people and just like one guy doing everything. It was sweating balls. And I was like, what's going on? Did everybody quit? He's like, no, it's change of shift. And then you see like all these people like kind of waddle in and clock in. But it was still nasty.
You see Chucky like waddling in?
Dude, Chucky, like he came out. There's obviously, as you know, no animatronics now.
Yeah.
So they have like kind of a dance floor and they have a big projector with like Chuck E. Cheese music videos, you know? kind of like MTV for Chucky. And then they were like, Chucky's coming out. And like the kids were still losing their shit. Like, hey, he's coming. And Henry ran up and hugged him. And so, like some shit fell out of Chucky's pocket and it looked like a baggie. And I was cracking up like he's got crystal meth on him.
Sure.
Yeah.
They do a good job. I mean, I've seen this exact same thing. They do it whenever there's a birthday party or something. And they'll be like, all right, guys, Chucky's coming out. There's a lot of buildup.
Yeah.
Right. And I can't believe it works because once it comes out, it seems so anticlimactic to me.
Yeah.
But the kids love it. There's a countdown clock on all these TVs.
The countdown
like 10, 9.
You could tell the guy or girl who did it, he was like, that they're literally working, doing something like, they're in the dish pit or whatever, and they're like, hey, Alan, it's your turn. And he's like, motherfucker. And they're like, come on. And he's like, I already did it 3 times a day. And they're like, you lost the bet. And he came out just like head hanging. Kids are punching him in the balls, just like when we were kids. But my question about it for you, and we can move on from Chuck E. Cheese, is do you think it was always like that and we just didn't notice it? Oh, something to that was also you have to pay to go in the ball pit. Yeah. It's a separate fucking thing.
Yeah, it's a separate thing. It's not inclusive anymore.
You have to pay to get COVID.
Yeah. I was thinking about this when we went to Chuck E. Cheese's and I was like, was it always this crappy? And I just never realized as a child. I'm going to hold on to my childhood memories here and say it was not that crappy because there's not even animatronics anymore. That was the whole thing of Chuck E. Cheese's was like the animatronic animals singing and dancing. There was a whole stage. They like gutted this place now.
But I don't know if it was all that. Like that wasn't the main thing for me. I also wonder if it's like when you're a kid, you don't notice obviously all the dynamics as an adult where I'm like, I work in hospitality. So I'm like, oh, this is dirty. Like I peeked into the kitchen and I just saw like all the health code violations.
Sure.
I see they have a salad buffet. I'm like, not going to touch it. I see, you notice like the class differences of like trashier, more roughneck people who you're like, ugh, I'm going to hold on. I'm not going to leave my wallet on the table. Just or shifty people that you're like, does this guy have a kid with him? Like me,
sure.
Just like, I don't want, or behavioral issues that you're like, I don't want my kid near that kid because that kid, has some, developmental issues and he's like freaking out and throwing stuff. And kids are just like, yay, lights. I want to ride on the truck. I want to play this video game. I want to play the coin game. And we're like, well, we only have 14 tickets left or whatever, So
it's just with our parent eyes now, we see these things differently than when we were children. I mean, it's possible.
We see all the details.
It's possible. I mean, now that we're done trashing Chuck E. Cheese's.
Fuck Chucky.
Yeah.
Charles E. Cheese.
Yeah, which reminds me, this episode brought to you by Chuck E. Cheese's.
They had a great episode of the Ringer or the Dakota Ring on the history of Chuck E. Cheese, which you should listen to because they talk all about the animatronics. But they essentially hit a peak, like their expansion. Once they put too many close to each other, they realized like they were losing so much business, and then there was Showbiz Pizza, and it's all centered around a guy who's trying to get the original animatronics back.
Oh, interesting.
Anyway, so we went to Tahoe.
So you went to Orlando. You came back from Orlando after your water park adventure with Jenna.
One day, and then turned around, got in a car, drove 10 hours to Lake Tahoe.
So you do this every year, which is insane to me.
The Tahoe thing,
the Tahoe
not
trip.
The Florida.
Every year around the 4th of July, you drive from Southern California, the Long Beach area, up to Tahoe, which is a flight in my mind.
Yes.
But you like to drive this with children.
No. I don't like to drive it. I don't like to fly it. I don't like to any of it.
But you do drive it every year.
Because originally the flights were obviously a lot cheaper and Maggie was a baby and she flew for free. Now we have to fly 4 motherfuckers up there and rent a car and get car seats and all the things. And it's like $5,000 to do that versus just the car we have and we drive up.
And just drive up. And how long is the drive?
Well, it's supposed to be 7.5 hours.
Oh my God.
Year before last, it was 14 hours.
Oh my God.
And then the following year, we decided to just stop halfway in Bishop and do a hotel.
Beautiful
which
Bishop,
was fine.
California.
This year we drove up and it, for the first year, was not that bad. Both kids can use their pads now. Both kids can get their own snacks. They were mostly quiet, minus Maggie getting car sick. Like, it wasn't that bad.
So you drove straight through this time.
We drove straight through.
You didn't stop halfway.
I mean, we stopped in Bishop just to get a bite to eat.
No, you have little
at
side
Denny's,
stops,
which
but you
is
didn't stay
another
the night
terrible
anywhere.
thing. Yeah, we didn't stay the night. And it was, I mean, honestly, dude, I'm the negative of, I always use this quote from somebody was talking about Steven Spielberg directing the movie AI, which was originally a Stanley Kubrick movie before he died. And I think it was A.O. Scott at the New York Times said, Spielberg's worldview is glass half full, and Kubrick's worldview is the glass is smashed and you're using the glass shards to cut your own eyes out. And that's kind of, I'm the Kubrick and Jenna's the Spielberg.
Sure.
And I'm so grumpy that she was like actively going to fly me up there so I wouldn't have to be in the car and she would do it by herself. Cause I was like, I'm going to crash this car on purpose kind of thing last year. Cause the kids were just awful. And my ADHD and the closed space of the car and the yelling, like everything's
it's
louder.
enough to break anyone.
Yeah.
Being in a car with children for that long.
Yeah. And they're just
really
like,
hard.
hand me this. I want this pad. I don't want this snack. My show's not working. I got to pee. I just say, she's looking at me. Yeah. He touched me. There's gum in my hair. And you're just like, shut the fuck. Like it's like a Pantera song.
I mean, this is a whole separate topic. But yeah, I mean, we are very cognizant of how much screen time the kids get, like every parent our age, I'm sure, right? This is something all of us kind of deal with and struggle with. And so we don't have like tablets specifically for the kids. Like I have my own iPad. Catherine has her own iPad. We don't ever let them really use them at home. But when we go on trips, like car trips, we're like, oh yeah, like we break them out. Cause it's amazing to see like what it does. It does hypnotize them, right? Yeah. It fully hypnotizes the kids.
That's all you want. That's all you want. I came to this thing this year where I was like, I'm not going to be like, you already had Cheetos. You can't have Skittles. You need to eat a grow food. I'm like, everything's free. Eat all the fucking candy you want. Watch all the shows.
Sure.
Do it to eat it all. Be like you're the fat pig in Wall-E just floating around on the thing. As long as we can get there without problems, we can get there.
Okay. So you made it up to Tahoe. You go to Tahoe every year. Your pictures and videos are always so funny when I look at your Instagram.
Follow
Tahoe.
me.
Because I mean, I'm not plugging. I guess
Bubba.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just kidding.
I am plugging your Instagram, I guess, but it is always funny when you go to Tahoe because I feel like you're in the Midwest or something. The videos and pictures you post, I'm like, where is this? Like, it looks like you've gone back in time.
Well, it's because we have a timeshare, which is a product of another era. Like they stopped in the 80s, basically. And the place that Jenna's family had timeshares, and then Jenna, when we were dating, she bought one.
I can't believe you guys have a timeshare.
I was like,
I've been meaning to talk to you about this.
What the fuck is a timeshare?
Brandon, who has a timeshare that's under 60 now?
Well, it's because her grandparents had one, her aunt and uncle had one, her mom had one. It was funny because when Jenna and I were dating, I was married before. I was like 40 grand in debt or something, like living hand to mouth. And she's like, do you think I should buy a timeshare? And I was like, a what?
Yeah.
Like those are still from the 80s. And the place, it truly may be our last year because like some company bought the time, like the
Brandon
property, and they're trying to burn it into the ground so they can redevelop it.
Timeshares are a full scam.
I mean, they may or may not be, but we have a timeshare and we go every year. And
I'm not saying they don't exist.
Yeah.
Like I understand that it's not like a figment of your imagination, but just like the cost to benefit ratio is horrible.
I don't know if it is because she paid $3,000 for the place like 10 years ago and she pays like $300 a year and that's it.
And how much time do you get there?
A week
once a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get into the numbers.
Let me
pull up
there
the
have been plenty of
there are a lot of scams, I think.
No, but I mean, just like in general, like like I feel like the jury's in. They've been like proof. Like there's a John Oliver episode about it. I mean, there's plenty of documentaries about it where you're like, these are basically a scam.
Okay, well, I need to watch them.
Yeah. Well, you have one, so don't watch it.
I don't own it. I mean, Jenna does. She's like, everything's ours. I'm like, no, it's not.
The timeshare is yours.
Yeah. We split up.
In the prenup, you're like, you get the timeshare.
I can't afford the dues. We did zip lining. We do like river rafting. It's fine.
Sure.
Would I rather drive 90 minutes to Lake Arrowhead and do the same shit in the mountains? Absolutely. But are there timeshares available there? There are not.
So our producer Wyatt had sent us a topic tonight, toys. And he wrote, the balancing act of buying toys when you have siblings and jealousy, and making sure toys are safe and fun and don't break the bank. I mean, we both have young children, and toys are, whether we like it or not, like
I hate them.
Part of their lives, right?
I hate them.
And yeah, I mean, something we were just kind of chatting about just before we came back from the break was, your relationship with toys and your partner, like, because rarely do I feel like it matches up that both parents like feel the same way about how many toys the kids should get. Like, what do they get a toy for? Do they have to use their own money for it? Or is it something they just get for no reason? It's like, that's like it really is like a balancing act you have to figure out with your partner. Like, what's our dynamic here?
I think our dynamic, we're pretty aligned. I don't know how you grew up with toys. I know we both grew up trashier, you could say. But the neighborhood, I didn't have a lot of toys to my recollection. And my kids have a tremendous amount of them. Now, I do think my kids take care of the toys. Where I would get freaked out and where I have trauma is like going over to people's houses when I was little, and they would just have piles of toys covered in dirt, nothing's cleaned up, like those kind of houses where it was like they just didn't care for any of the toys. My kids like put away the toys, they put them on shelves, they clean up really nicely.
I think that's probably,
but we do rotate shit out. Like,
that's your influence though, like the taking care of it, I bet, because you did not grow up, neither of us did, with a ton of money. And so when you don't have a ton of money, the things you do have become a little more precious to you, right? We're not breaking new ground here. When you're a little more wealthy, there's not as much value put around the toys because you just get new ones all the time, right?
Yeah.
So I bet you that's your influence on the kids, even if it's like a subconscious thing.
Well, it's more emotional for me than I think the kids can handle, in that, like, I remember Jenna, there was a period last season where Jenna was gone. She was on like a work trip. She was gone for, it was almost like a month of like, Henry was on spring break. I had him the whole time. The next week, Maggie was on spring break. I had her the entire week, and I worked every night. And then Jenna also was like, I'm going for a week and a half on a girls trip or something.
So it's like all these things lined up where you're basically single parenting. So
I was just drowning
for
in
a
the
few
kids.
weeks.
Yeah. And there was a moment kind of towards the end where I was really kind of starting to lose it. And Henry refused to clean up his stuff. I was like, pick all these up. And he was like, no. And he was just being shitty. And so I stupidly said, if you don't pick them up, I'm going to throw them all out, which is, maybe we've talked about, like, you can't write a
if you
check
draw
your
that
ass
line in the sand.
cash.
We have had this
Right. I should have
you have to
said-
stick to it now.
And it was because I was having all this grief with my dad. And then Maggie and Henry came in the room. They were really freaked out because I wasn't just crying. I was like wailing, ugly, crying in front of my children. And I was like, I had nothing. Like, I had one remote control car that I had to have my parents and my grandpa pitch in on. It would cost like $19 or something. Yeah. And I was like, you have all this stuff. And Henry said, it's okay. You can throw it all out. I'll just get some new stuff from the store.
Sure.
And I was like, you
Just
think,
really
you
rubbing
think
salt
that's
in the
how
wound.
it works?
Yeah.
There's kids in China who make you these things, and their parents commit suicide on a net. You know, whatever.
This
I
argument
just
was totally lost on him.
It was so bad that I went in my room and started crying, and Maggie was crying in the living room, and she came in and was like, I was praying for you, Dad.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay. Anyways, toys.
So I think my hypothesis was absolutely correct. Obviously, your relationship with this has probably had a significant impact on your children and the way they take care of their toys.
Maybe. I don't think I guilt them too much. I mean, that was like an incident.
Sure.
But
that weighs heavy on kids.
Jenna's really good about clearing shit out of like, they're not using this, put it on Facebook Marketplace, whatever, and bring in the new stuff.
Catherine's good at that too. I am not. She will do this like cleansing. There's like a culling of the toys that happens periodically, right?
The culling. Yeah, Jen always says, I'm good at cleaning. She's good at organizing. So she'll come in and she spent, like when we got back from the vacation, she went into Maggie's room for 2 hours it looked exactly the same to me, but all the layers of shit and knickknacks underneath and underneath crafts and pieces of this and boxes, it was all cleared out and in the trash, and nobody noticed it. There was a culling.
Yeah, this is a good relationship. Like, you have different strengths, right? Because I don't do that either, and Catherine does, so it's a very similar situation. And if she wouldn't do that, there would just be so many stories of like clothes or shoes or toys or whatever in their rooms. It would just eventually completely fill up, right?
Yeah, and there would just be pieces of little toys next to it. That's the houses we would go to that were the real white trash houses, where like the place was neither clean nor cold, and it was just detritus of toys.
Yeah, that's very different. Yeah, and we'll do it. I think Catherine, she must have a spreadsheet. Jesus, like, she has these times of year where she does it every year. She'll do it like before their birthdays and then before Christmas too. So she's like very organized with it, knowing like what, because she's like, we're about to get an influx.
Yeah,
like we got to
Jen
make
is
room.
good about it because she'll. This is a podcast about women. That she will. She's a really good gift giver like you, but she'll buy shit in advance. So she'll have like a whole closet full of things like, okay, for Christmas is good. So she knows also what's coming in, and will kind of start to parse down so it doesn't get too much in his room. Cause I like it to look like, especially outdoor toys. Like I do have issues with that of like Jenna's mom got us like one of those RV cars or whatever. I think you almost gave us yours, right?
Yeah. No,
and I was we're not even using the one. We used it twice.
Huge aversion to like outdoor toys because everything just turns into garbage after like 3 weeks when it sits outside.
Yeah, and I bought tarps to put on it. I'm just like, they're not using these big wheels. Let's fucking throw it in the garbage. I hate the outside part of it all.
This is like a huge thing for me with, it seems like it's with in-laws, but I guess it could be with any family member, which is like, how dare you fucking give my child this huge toy with 5 million parts that goes outside for Christmas? Like, are you kidding me? I am going to have to deal with this in my life for the next 2 months before I have a knockdown drag out with the kids that it's getting thrown away.
Nobody likes it. I was driving all day, doctor's appointments for all the kids. And the amount of fucking RV cars that I'd see on the side of the road are like those adjacent toys. Nobody wants it. They use it twice, like it's for a 3-year-old, and they use it 2 times. The battery never works. The piece, they're not well built. I mean, those are something that should have been built in the 60s.
You're talking about like the little Power Wheels things? Yeah.
None of them, they're so cheapy. They fall apart.
Wait, do you mean like remote control cars, or the ones that they drive themselves? The ones
that they climb in and they drive, step on the gas.
We call those Power Wheels.
Power Wheels. Yeah. They're all garbage.
Yeah. I mean, for the most part,
I mean, it's just, I hate the outdoor toy stuff. I think there's also the trashy houses you'd see growing up. Like,
unless you have
all their toys would be in the front yard with all the Power Wheels that don't work.
Got a neighbor like that. Oh man, we've got it. And whenever we walk by,
I've seen them.
They really get the stink eye from me. Catherine,
call the city.
Yeah, I mean, I walk by and I only ever see kids out in front of the house. I never see a parent. I'm like, Catherine, I'm telling you, these kids are living on their own.
No,
like,
they're your parents. They're taking a day drunk nap.
There's like 11 children there, and they're all different ethnicities. I'm like, what is going on here?
They're probably running an illegal daycare like your mother-in-law used to.
But it'll be like 8 p.m. on a Tuesday. I'm like, this ain't a daycare. Like this is,
it's and there's gummo out there.
And they're just like riding on the ground with permanent with like Sharpies, and you're like, what is happening?
Oh my God, they're carving names into each other's arms.
The outdoor toys you could imagine. Every outdoor toy you can pop. And it's all dirty. I'm like, what is going on here?
I'm a cop caller. I would be calling DCFS. I'd be calling the city. I'd call the police and say that one of the kids has a gun that he's waving around or something that looks like a gun.
What's funny, when you walk by the kids, because they'll be outside crazy. It'll be 9 o'clock on a Tuesday, and they're outside. 6 years old to 12 years old. You see them out there, and when you walk by, they kind of like sober up real quick and really give you the stink eye. Like they look back at you, like
give you this.
They kind of give you like hard looks, like they know they're doing something they're not supposed to. So they kind of like button it up real quick when you walk by.
What are they doing? Or they just know that they're unattended? I
mean, have you read Lord of the Flies? Like they're just like out there being crazy,
smiling out.
It's just the inmates running the asylum. And it's just these kids, you're like, there's always either squirt guns or airsoft guns or some sort of gun is being played with. When by once they had like construction tools, like pickaxes and shovels, and they're just demolishing the front yard. I'm like, what is going on here?
Well, can you say the address on the air?
I cannot. So anyway,
let's do a field recording.
I mean, we've gone far afield from toys here, but yeah, my relationship with toys, I definitely grew up with. We didn't lack for anything, right? We did not grow up wealthy by any means. Like, we were, well-intentioned desert folk. But I was very active. I was always skateboarding, biking, being outside, doing these things. So I didn't want a huge amount of toys. I mean, I had toys, sure, like anybody, but that wasn't like a big part of my life, really, that I can, from, sure, when I was really young,
you weren't like Ninja Turtles and stuff.
I mean, when I was probably 5, but once I started, 9, 10, 11, I was all about like skateboarding, being outside, riding bikes with my friends, playing roller hockey in the street, right?
Wow, a real X Games boy.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe because you were in the desert and I was in Michigan where it was cold, and I was in a religious cult, and most of my life was just like indoors, and I was like, Ninja Turtles and G.I. Joes.
An indoor kid, yeah.
Yeah. I'm what they call an indoor kid, which is why I don't like camping.
But yeah, so I mean, my relationship with toys, I felt like was pretty healthy growing up. I think with my kids now, they're very different. So our 9-year-old is just all about reading. That's all he wants to do is read.
God bless him.
All the time. He when he was in second grade, or I think it must have been second grade, he got like an award being like, you read 1 million words this year. Out of all the kids in the school, you're the only one who's read 1 million words. Like, just for funsies.
You should tell him to stop and just show him ChatGPT and be like, you don't need to read anymore.
Book summaries.
He is funny when I see him like at events and he's got the whatever book he's reading.
He always has a book.
Like Percy Jackson. And he's very like a Victorian child, like like a prince where he's like, you're not allowed to speak to me.
Yeah,
I'm in my reading time. And I'm like, oh, you got a little book there, huh? Yeah. Your kid's gotta hate me.
Yeah, no, he's that way with everybody. His vocabulary is better than mine. He reads nonstop. I know everybody says things about their kids. I have never met a child like this in my life with how much he consumes reading. He will go through a full thick like Percy Jackson book 2 days. I mean, these are books are 500-600 pages. Like,
how do you know he's actually reading it? How do you know
you can ask him?
Well,
we've asked him. We'll do like kind of like reading comprehension things.
Yo, right? What's this word mean?
Yeah,
huh, dummy?
That you don't even know. No, but we'll be like, what's this about? And we'll make him tell us, because we've been concerned about that. We're like, are you just speed reading and not even comprehending? So we'll ask him questions about it. And we're like, oh no, he's reading it. I'm like, goddamn, this kid just reads like crazy. So he likes some toys, but honestly, all he needs it's so lame. All he needs are books.
There's a kid Maggie's age who lives 2 doors down, and he's nice house, clean house, but so much stuff. Mm-hmm. And he's into, now maybe your kids are into it a little bit more. But I think that his mom's let him see more stuff, but like weapons.
Oh.
Like he's got fake swords, Darth Vader masks, a scream
How old
mask.
is this child?
He's Maggie's age, so he's 6.
6, okay.
Like knives, Nerf guns, like lasers.
Yeah, there are these
combat
kids.
shit.
Yeah, they like
Wolverine,
that stuff.
Blades, gloves that you put on, Hulk arms. Like, I mean, I usually Jen will send me videos when I'm not at home of them playing in the front yard. And one of his moms is really like physical. Like she'll roughhouse with the kids in the front yard. But I went over there one time. I was like, don't fucking touch me. These kids are like attacking me, hitting me with swords and stuff. And it's like, he's like a combat kid. For Halloween, he was in the FBI. Sure. Like he dressed up as an FBI agent and had like a weapon, a service weapon and everything. And I'm like, oh, I could see maybe Henry's going to go that way. So hopefully not, because I would hate it.
You have to.
But I want to try to nurture this model.
Yeah, you need
toy
a
thing, which is why Wyatt also introduced me to like the head of like the LA County Railroad Museum or whatever.
This is child
I'm taking
abuse.
him there.
Your kid's going to be such a dork. Oh my god.
I mean, he already is a dork. I'm just like facilitating
railroading. As an adolescent.
It's like he loves trains. There was a pilot I met at my work, and he's like, "Bring your son. I can meet you on the weekends. I can show him like the inside of planes and stuff. We can go up in the sky." So I'm like, yeah, he's into vehicles. He's into garbage trucks. He's into all that shit. Mm-hmm. We were driving to Tahoe. we were coming through and I was like, oh God, what's that smell? And Maggie's like, oh yeah. I was like, oh, it's diesel. We were like by all these diesel engines. And Henry goes, I really like that smell. And I'm like, you're a born laborer, which frankly, where everything's going with AI, like he's going to be a tradesman. Thank God.
Good. That's what I would recommend too.
But to circle back on what we're talking about with the vacation things is like, I think with toys, we're leaning into an era, and I've noticed this more with birthday parties lately for kids, is they're like, please don't send us toys, send an experience, or send money for his karate classes or her
No, I haven't seen
gymnastics classes, or he really wants to go to this water park. That people are angling away from as the kids get older. They want to get more into an experiential stuff.
So this is like when you go to a wedding or something and they're like, please just send money to charity, or like donate to our honeymoon fund or something.
Yeah,
right?
because it's like when I go visit my mom, I had to bring a separate giant ass suitcase back because she took them to, not Toys R Us, some different toy stores, and it was just so much stuff.
You know,
they don't care when it's like on Christmas where you don't open all the presents at once.
No,
you do it over a few days, because then they're just throwing stuff, and it's like growing up as poor as I did. And then even I remember my grandpa would be like, all I got for Christmas was an orange.
Yeah.
Because he grew up in the Depression. I'm
Hooverville.
Like, shut up, old man, loser. And now it's me where I'm like, I had to get my family to pitch in to get me one Hot Wheel, and he's just like throwing it on the ground. What else?
I like this idea that what you were just talking about with the kids and their parents saying like, oh, send money for his karate class or do this thing. I think this is a good move, like away from like materialism, because I feel like this is a net good, right?
Well, and also something that Jenna does, and you may do this on birthday parties, is she keeps a list of everything people get and makes Maggie or Henry like sign or write a thank you card.
That's great. She does
so
that.
They have to value it. And it's you could do that too for any experiential thing of like, they send a card like, thank you so much, I really wanted to go to SeaWorld or whatever it is.
That's an awesome idea. I think that's great. Yeah.
Henry's favorite thing this whole year, and all he had talked about for the year before, was taking the Surfliner train down to the beach.
You did. This is another thing I saw on your Instagram where you were on the train to the beach. And the whole time I was just thinking like, my kids would be bouncing off the walls. And Henry looked so happy.
He was like, this has 4 passenger cars. That engine is taking it on the, like, he knows, like, he's like, this line of train, this is car number, whatever. Like and it's funny. I mean, I would think he's autistic, but he's like super outgoing and, funny, but otherwise you'd think this motherfucker's autistic, because he's just like watching YouTube train videos. I mean, like an hour and a half of just like a train going by.
And this isn't you are not.
I hate trains. My grandpa loved trains. It truly skipped a generation.
But even like the personality
2 generations.
Of it, I feel like Henry kind of reminds me of your dad sometimes. It's like your dad, I loved him, and your dad passed a couple years ago now, right?
Yeah.
And he was great, but your dad was such a dork too.
Yeah.
Right? Like in like a similar way that Henry's kind of a dork, right? And I say that in a very endearing way, right?
No, he was a fucking dork.
If you got talking to your dad about some topic he was into, man, he would nerd out for like 10 minutes.
Well, and he also had the thing, which is admirable, that my dad would nerd out asking you about your life.
Oh yeah, he was great.
If
about
you were
that.
like if my dad met your dad and your dad was like, yeah, I work at the Budweiser plant, he'd be like, huh, so tell me about that.
So many follow-up questions.
Follow up. I have videos of him just at random parties talking to the same person for an hour and a half. And he's like, well, he's a beer representative. And the way it works, we're like, I didn't know they work in a manufacturing plant for cottage cheese. And the thing I learned was, and what you wouldn't believe, and he will just talk to ask anybody about their life.
There was a guy that was on like public access that reminds me of this. I
gotta find who he is.
I wish I could remember the name of him now. Yeah. And he would just show up at like oh, it's the label making factory. And he was just like, he would just show up. It was on like, maybe it was Southern California Public Access. Wyatt or Brandon, if you remember, please tell me the guy's name.
I don't know.
Huell Hauser. Thank you,
No
Wyatt.
way.
Yes.
That's a real name.
And he would show up at, the label making factory, and every person he talked to, and they'd be like, yeah, well, I show up around 8 a.m. and I clock in, and I sit at this line, and sometimes a button comes on and I push the button. And he'd be like, so tell me about the button. Wow, that is fascinating. And he would just like, and what color? Is it a big button? And you're just like, what? How can you be so interested in this mundane shit?
I gotta see this.
How?
I need to do an updated version of this.
Yeah.
Mr. Rogers would do that sometimes, where he'd have like an interstitial, like 5-minute documentary where it'd just be like, here's how they make crayons.
Yeah.
They get the stickers put on after they melt the wax and they dry. And
it was like ASMR for kids.
And
before
it'd be like
ASMR.
I tried to. That would be my punishment for the kids when they'd be little cunts. Is I'd be like, guess we're watching Mr. Rogers for the week, and they'd be like, no, and I'd be like, that's the only screen time you get.
Well, I highly recommend you check out some YouTube clips of Huell Hauser
and
see what I'm talking about, where he would go over the most mundane activities. And that reminds me of like what you were saying with your dad, where it's like you could put him in front of anybody and he would get them talking about their life, and they would just, it could be so boring.
They'd go on, and they'd go, he said, your dad's a pretty interesting guy. I go, yeah. They go, he seems pretty interested in a lot of stuff, almost anything.
He's got like no bar. He's just like, whatever it is, I'm interested in it.
It doesn't matter how bad.
So I mean, I guess we got away from toys a little bit there, but I mean, to wrap it up, relationship with toys, I feel like Catherine and I are pretty similar pages as far as how we feel like the kids getting toys. We've started to give them like allowance for doing chores and things, so they can buy stuff, because they are starting to want things sometimes. That
do they even understand value? I mean, this was like a fucking nightmare for me. Was Maggie's into knickknacks and trinkets, and I took her to that little seashell store in Seal Beach, and I was like, "You can." This mistake I made. I go, you can get $20 worth of stuff.
Oh my God. Yeah.
She doesn't know. She's walking around going, can I get 10 of these? I'm like, well, those are $12 each. Well, can I get one of this? Well, that's 50 cents. So you can get 40 of those. But I want, and then we're just doing math forever. I should have been like, you get 5 things.
Sure. So
I feel like if I introduced money, like you get $5,
she's
they'd be
6.
like, huh.
But probably when this happened, she was probably closer to 5. And
this was this morning.
Okay. No. I mean, yeah, even so, I mean, it's not that far off, but 5/6 is a real like crux time for kids with math. Like, cause they can do some math, but it's pretty clunky. Right. Yeah. And so when you say, hey, you can get, you got $20, like that's a tough putt for a 5/6-year-old.
Yeah. Because she's also just kind of getting to read, which she still doesn't get time yet. I'm sure some kids do, but she's like, will that be a long time? And I'm like, it'll be an hour. And she's like, so that's 1426. And I'm like, let's just fucking,
we got to move on.
Let's wait till next year. Let your teachers figure it out. I'm going to kill myself.
Our 6-year-old's getting pretty good with time now. He can't tell an analog clock, like he can't read that, but regular clocks, like digital clocks, he can read them, and he gets the concept generally now about like, oh, an hour is this much time, 30 minutes is kind of that much time. So it definitely gets a lot easier. But the math thing, he's getting better at it too, but it's this is the time when they get to be 7, it's not a big deal. But 6/5, that's still rough, where they're kind of getting the concept.
What are your chores
for the kids? So our 9-year-old will bring in the trash cans after the trash truck comes. So he'll go out and bring the trash cans in.
I know what that is.
A trash can?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I didn't think it was mysterious. And then our 6-year-old, we'll have him, I guess it's all very trash related. We'll have him take the trash bags out of the bathrooms and like throw it in the trash cans. Right now, and then we'll also have them water. We'll have them help us water. Okay. The front yard and backyard, the different plants and stuff. You got to get into
like bathroom cleaning shit.
They're just
some
not
deadly
good at
chemicals.
That's the problem.
They need to put a mask on. No, I mean,
kids are the
Henry
worst.
wants to do the yard with me, and it's like it takes a 1 hour thing into 3 hours because he's not doing anything but making more messes. And then you're like, you said you were going to do this. He's like, oh, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I want to get the mail. And then he rips up all the mail and it's flying all over the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to mow. I'm just like, just go inside, watch a show. I don't care.
When you have them do chores at this age, it is not for the actual value they are bringing to the job, because they do a horrible job at shit.
Let me ask, have you ever tried to make them do a chore as a punishment?
No.
I'm interested. Because
Like,
I
you fucked
I do
up.
something like, you got to go clean the garage now. I want to try it.
Let me know how it works out.
Yeah, I feel like it could be a next level because we can't really hit them, quote. But I'm curious. Don't you hate though when they're like, did I do a good job?
No.
And they didn't fucking do anything. Like Henry has a meltdown and then like you get in the car and Maggie didn't. She's like, Dad, am I doing a good job?
Oh, yeah,
And I'm
well,
like,
that is
oh,
annoying.
you are? Shut the fuck up.
So,
But Henry, my kids have been like making the beds lately.
ooh,
I've been modeling
That's
because I'm a
pretty
stay-at-home dad. Like
no one in
I
our house
vacuum,
makes their bed.
Like I vacuum every day, all these things. So Henry models a lot of his, behavior after me. And that's why for Father's Day on his little school paper, he wrote like, my dad, she is a 68-year-old woman and she is so funny.
oh god, he did write that.
He wrote that. That I'm like a elderly trans woman. He thinks they see me make the bed, and I kind of did a whole like, you got to make your bed. Not that I'm Jordan Peterson, but like you wake up, you make your bed. That's how you start your day. And now they're like, come look at my bed. No, look at mine. My bed's better. See how I
Sure.
tucked my side in? And the beds look
Well,
stupid.
now it's a bed competition.
bed competition.
That's a good way to get through to them.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's an interesting. So I mean, I was just trying to think about. So yeah, I mean, we do allowance for their toys, and then also
How much?
Not much, just nominal amounts.
I only got allowance once, and my parents were like, they give us $5, and then every time we did something bad, they docked us, and we ended up owing money at the end.
We
I
haven't,
was just like,
we haven't done
okay.
that. We did start a glass jar that sits on our like credenza thing, and it's called the I'm bored jar.
Oh,
And anytime they say I'm bored or give me something to do, they have to give us a nickel.
huh?
And so, because we just got so sick of hearing it, like,
I'm bored.
give me something to do, I need something to do. So any variation thereof of that, we're like, yep, get us a nickel. Go to
Have
your
you
piggy bank
talked
and
to
get us a
them
nickel.
about how it's good to be bored? Because
Yes,
Maggie says,
absolutely.
she's like, I'm bored in the car. I'm like, great.
Good.
Most life is boring.
Look around.
You know what you ought to do is fuck them at the end, and you get the money, and then you donate to like Oxfam, where you're like, oh, this to get new limbs for kids in Gaza.
Sure.
Give it to like a charity, and then just watch their faces fall. You guys did so good. Oh, you don't like that?
Be
You
a
want
great,
kids
this
walking
would
around
be a
with
great lesson.
stubs instead of a hook?
When the other way we've let them buy toys is their bikes that we so they got new bikes. I talked about this before. And so their old bikes we sold. And so we sold them on, I sold them on, Facebook Marketplace or OfferUp or whatever, right?
It was all over the news.
They were great bikes, And so it's all over the news. So I told Catherine, I said, hey, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take the money. We're gonna
invested in Bitcoin.
we're gonna take half of the money, and we're just gonna put it in their college accounts. They both have like 526 whatever scholarship fund
Your kids are
accounts.
gonna go
right?
to college.
That,
That's
we
cool.
Put money in, and so we're like, let's take half the money, 50% of the money, put it in their college accounts.
How much
then-
are these fucking bikes?
I mean, how much did we sell them for?
Yeah.
You want to get into the financials here?
Well, you're like, they're nice bikes. They're nice bikes. We put half of it into their finance.
Sure.
How much are the fucking
Thousands of dollars, Brandon.
Thousands
No, I'm
of
just kidding. I'm just
dollars?
kidding.
Why,
No.
Let's say his address. This guy needs to have
Brandon.
a home invasion.
It doesn't matter how much it is, right? But these bikes
It
were
does matter how much it is.
these bikes were probably $300 or $400 new. New. All right. And
are
then-
they e-bikes?
No, that's just what are you?
I didn't. That's
Where
a
are you?
lot of money.
This is another conversation. And then used.
all our old bikes were sold for cash for clunkers.
I think
That's why a Huffy's $15,000.
one of the bikes sold for like 200 used, and the other one sold for like 100 used. So it was like $300.
All right.
So we took half the money, put it in there. We took the other half the money and we gave it, we split it down the middle and we gave it to each of them to say like, you could do what you want with it. So it ended up being they each got like $50. I just rounded. I was like, yeah, you get $50 each. But the lesson I was trying to teach was like, listen, like you took care of your bikes, right? You took care of your toys. Like you took care of this thing. I didn't let you lay it down in the dirt. Like we washed it, we would oil the chain. We kept this thing nice. And now since you kept it nice, we were able to resell these things and you get some money to buy something cool with that you want. So this was like a lesson that I really wanted to do. Catherine didn't seem to care about this lesson very much.
I don't. I fucking fell asleep when you were telling me this. Your kids must have hated it.
But at the end of the story, they're like, hey, we each got $50 to like buy whatever we want with this. This is great.
What kind of books did the one kid get?
Oh my God. He's probably going to buy all books.
So many books.
But our 6-year-old, he bought a Lego set. He was very excited.
What kind?
He got the Harry Potter Night Bus Lego set.
I've never seen it. It's witchcraft.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about with toys? Any other hot takes you got here?
Most of the kids' toys I have are just like used Facebook Marketplace stuff because I don't want to get them anything nice.
You don't think your kids are good enough to have new toys?
No, they're idiots. And they're also going to get rid of... I mean, if it's like something in the house, yeah, I'm never going to buy them a new bike. That's for rich people like John.
You just talked about how you bought Maggie a new bike.
No, it was not a new bike. It was an old bike. It was a used bike.
That was a used bike? No,
yeah.
I carried a new bike with you into your attic.
Oh, yeah.
How dare you?
I didn't buy her that. Jenna did. I forgot about that bike.
You went splitting up
and you know what? That stupid bike
with you and Jenna, you're
work,
like...
and you were right.
I told you.
And you know what? You've been right all along, John, because neither of my idiot kids can ride without training wheels. And I took them to Eldorado Park and did the whole loop. And I was like...
Yeah, they're slow.
And I was like, by the end of the summer... both you bozos are going to be without training wheels. And they're like, no. And I was like, too bad. Better put on the knee pads I got you because we're going to war.
So this is current. This is where we're at now. This is current.
Okay. And now that I'm switching, I'm working day shifts every night the next couple of weeks that I'm not at work and I'm not doing something. We're going to that park.
Dude, you got to bring him over here and ride with the boys because we got some of our other friends.
Boys with a Z.
Some of our other friends were here and they have like a 12-year-old who couldn't really ride his bike very well.
What?
But then he saw our boys and he was like, he went home and told his dad, he's like, I got to figure out how to, and he was inspired to do it. And now he's like, it's been like 2 weeks and he's like, oh yeah, his dad's like, dude, he's riding a bike now. It's great. No training
pressure.
Yeah.
They all ride around. They go by that abandoned house with all the loose kids.
Yeah, I'm like, do you want to end up
bow and arrows at them?
Like the Lord of the Flies kid down the street?
They're chucking hypodermic needles.
You got to ride
from
fast.
The parent who's in a diabetic coma.
There's no parents in the house.
The body's just
I swear to God,
there.
there are no parents in that house. There cannot be.
We should list that address, though, for child services.
All right.
I want to get your take on this, John.
Okay.
Which was when we were on vacation, we went to the movies.
Okay.
We saw... should I even say the movie, or is that gonna...
I think it's fine.
Okay. Well, I don't want to timestamp it too much. We saw a summer blockbuster by Mr. Brad Pitt called F1.
So F1. I have not seen this yet.
F1. It's a race car movie with Brad Pitt. The cars are really fast.
What character is this?
This is Brad Pitt.
Oh, got it.
F1. It was just okay.
All right.
It's by the guy who did Top Gun. So we were like, it was the only movie played in Tahoe.
And Jenna loves the new Top Gun movie.
Jesus Christ.
So this is right up her alley.
Get her away from Top Gun Maverick because she's watching it at every turn.
Yeah. So you were real excited. You're like, from the man who brought you Top Gun Maverick.
It was a very similar formula to Maverick of like the old dog coming into,
Sure.
But the thing was, we're sitting in the movie and behind us, there's a couple groups of teenagers. And they're like doing teenager shit. They're like laughing out loud. They're like yelling at the screen. Like somebody, like there's a moment in the movie and then they like make fun of it and yell back at it.
It's an interactive experience for them.
They're ruining the movie.
Okay.
And everybody in the audience, it's not a packed house, but it's like 2/3 full. Or you could see them looking back. We're seated in the back. They're kind of looking behind us like, well, these kids shut up. Like, it's very annoying. And the kids are doing it knowingly to annoy people.
Yeah,
they're not just being loud.
Yeah, they're not just having a good time. They are aware of the impact they are having on the rest of the
deliberately, they're like, we're
audience.
messing with everybody here to bother people because it's funny. Now, I get this. I did stuff like it. I wouldn't ruin a movie, but I remember like when Jackass came, or it was before Jackass, there was that VHS called CKY2K.
Mm-hmm.
You probably knew it. And it had some of the Jackass people, and they do like pranks, you know, and it was like revolutionary. And me and my 15-year-old friends, we were like all pumped up. We're like, let's go to this gas station and like pretend that we threw up a Slurpee or whatever, you know, just doing that kind of stuff. Like, let's dress up as an old person and, you know, whatever. But we were never like going into a trapped environment like a movie and ruining it for people. So I was already kind of annoyed. I'm also aware, like, I'm over 40 now and I'm like a guy. I'm an adult now. And to all children and teenagers, I just look like an annoying old guy. But it really got under my skin when there was a funny moment in the movie and my wife laughed out loud.
Okay.
It was like a pun and she laughed. And then 2 rows behind us, this kid
vultures.
goes, ha ha, so funny.
Yeah.
And Jenna just kind of looked away and I was like, that's my fucking wife.
Oh, shit.
You just made fun of my wife. I'll fucking cut you open, right?
Yeah, you got real Midwest on them.
So I go outside. My first instinct is like, I'm going to go to the concessions, be like, is there a manager here, right? This is a single screen movie house in Tahoe.
Yeah.
There's one motherfucker
So
working
these are
there.
local yokels.
Dude. Well, or vacationers.
Yeah, it could be either one. Okay.
So I kind of looked at the kids. You know, I didn't stink eye them because I didn't want to give my location away. But I kind of got up to go to the bathroom and then I kind of peeked in. I was like, assessing, like, okay, are there 10 of them?
Yeah, could I take them?
Do they look like gang bangers? You know, and I was like, there's 2 of them. They look like they're 14, 15 tops. They're scrawny. And there's not 20 of them or whatever. And they look like kind of rich, like e-bike riding, vacationing.
You were not threatened by
I
these
wasn't
teenagers.
threatened. Now, I'm not saying this like I was going to fight them. I was just kind of like, what are we dealing with here? So then I'm looking for the manager. There's only one guy who works there. Same guy who took everybody's tickets. Same guy who
This
did
is
the
the Majestic.
concessions.
Like,
It totally is. He's not even there. There's no bell. He's upstairs running the goddamn projector.
Brandon, he's got to run the projector as well.
And then some other guy my age, he comes out and he goes, oh, are you complaining? And I go, I was gonna, but there's nobody here. And then I noticed the entry doors are the type that like lock.
Yeah.
So then I'm thinking like, oh, if the kids leave, like they can't come back in, right?
The wheels are turning now. in your
Wheels
head.
are turning. And then I'm like, do I want to get arrested? You know what I mean? So I just go behind the counter and I go up the stairs and this guy kind of is like, whoa, whoa. Like maybe he was like whacking it up there or something, you know, because it's a digital projection. So he's like, what are you doing? I was like,
Oh, it's digital. I imagined him on like a bicycle, like running the projector.
well, and he had like earbuds and stuff. Like he's probably listening to a podcast or watching Pornhub, who knows what. But he was like, I was like, hey, did you hear the kids up there? He goes, oh, what's going on? I'm like, oh, you don't hear the kids who are yelling at the screen and ruining it? He goes, I guess, yeah, maybe I can talk to him. And I was like, I think you need to ask him to leave.
This guy's like 2 years older than them.
Yeah, no, he actually was like my age.
Oh, okay.
But he was
Interesting.
kind of like, had that energy of like guy who works in a bicycle shop. You know, like he cut his denim shorts.
Yeah.
He has like a fedora. You're like, okay.
This is like a guy who's chosen to live in Tahoe.
Yeah,
right.
he's
Year
definitely
round,
like,
right. He's like an outdoorsy dude.
outdoorsy, but you know, a little not lecherous. Just kind of had that like, let me tell you about LCD sound system vibe.
Kind of reminds me of like the bicycle messenger in Portlandia that Fred Armisen would play.
Yeah,
Right.
he was definitely a Fred Armisen character.
Yeah.
So me, and then the other guy who came out, he goes, I go, yeah, they were like, you know, making fun of my wife. He goes, yeah, and they were yelling like this. He's like, my dad's really sick, and this is like my birthday, and we're going to the movie, and this might be the last time. And I was like,
these kids are ruining
these
it.
kids are done. And so I go back in the theater, and Fedora kid, a guy working there, is like, where are they? And I go behind the kids and I point to them, and he just looks at them, and the kids don't even notice. I'm like, he's not doing anything.
Giving hard stares.
The other guy is on the other side. He's just standing there. He was like, I'll back you up.
You guys
And I'm
have
like,
triangulated.
nobody's doing anything. So then, and Jenna doesn't even, she's like 3 rows up. She doesn't know what's going on. So
She thought you left. You've been gone now for 20 minutes.
This is all in the span of 5 minutes. Okay?
Oh, okay. This happened quickly.
I haven't missed much of the 4-hour movie. So I just go, all right, guys, security's here. It's time to go. And the kids kind of look up at me.
Oh my God.
And they don't do anything. And I go, it's time to go. And they don't do anything. So then I just put my hands under their armpits and I lift them. And they're just stand up. And I start escorting them out with my hands under their armpits.
Sure. You laid hands on a minor.
I laid hands under a minor. And I just walk them. And the guy goes, okay, come on. I go, yep, call your moms. You ruining the movie for everybody. Really not nice, guys.
Everybody thank
really
Chad
annoying.
for ruining the movie for
Thank
everybody.
You. Everybody hates you. You know, I didn't say that. I was just like, call your mom. You did a bad job. I talked to him like Henry. I go, you did a bad job.
Oh my
that
God.
was very bad.
Yeah.
You're ruining the movie. And they were the look of shock on their face. And then I just kind of shoved them out the door and it closed. And they kind of grabbed the door and they couldn't. And they just were like, oh, and you see them kind of go for their phone, like total fucking shock. The adrenaline I had. You might have like thought that I was like knife fighting somebody over a game of
for the
pool.
next 3-4 hours.
No, Jenna was so mad at me. She was like, they could come back with their gang. I'm like, I don't think
this
so.
This isn't Long Beach.
It's not Long Beach. I would never do anything like that in Long Beach. I know people have gotten stabbed in the heart at a fucking bar from looking because they're bikers. Like there's actual bikers in this town.
Sure.
Like it's like 60s. But in Tahoe, I was just like, no, like
this will
we
not
would have
stand.
had to have 2 more hours of this movie with these kids just like dinking. Yeah. And there were other teenagers there who were like having a good time, but they weren't ruining the movie. They were talking a little bit and they get quiet. Maybe they laugh. They weren't. These kids were a menace.
They were the bad ones.
Your Honor.
Yeah.
These kids were bad.
Yeah.
They were
so
bad apples.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you know, it wasn't like I was proud, like, I showed those kids. Yeah. I was kind of embarrassed of like, I'm a dad. I'm like that guy. Like they went home. They probably lied to their mom, but they were probably telling each other like, that gross guy.
He touched me.
The guy, we could have him arrested.
Does anybody know his name? Yeah.
You know, I don't know. And also, yeah, sure. Like they could have had some helicopter mom that they told whatever. Like this guy tried to finger us at the movies or something. And I come out and the cops are there. They're like, that's him.
Your face,
I don't know.
Your face is like being sketched up in the Tahoe police station right now. Have you seen this man?
I just don't know. Like,
so yeah,
what
my assessment,
would you have done?
Oh, I don't know what I would have done. But my assessment is that like, I feel like it's 2 parts here, right? You got to break this in half. Did you do the right thing, like ethically, right? Like given what was happening here, like if we're to take this case, you know,
go get your wife.
Let me go get her. She'll give us a real. No, she's going to give you the second part here. So I'm giving you like almost my assessment first. Like ethically, did you do the right thing? I'm like, yeah, they're little fuckers, right? They're ruining the movie for everybody, right? And like, I was also a little fucker at some point in time, and somebody had to tell me what was what, and that's okay, right? That's fine. This is how the world goes round. It's okay. So ethically, did you do the right thing? Like, yeah, I think you probably did, man. They're ruining the movie. They need to be told what for and like kick them out, and they're fine. No one got hurt.
Yeah.
Right.
I also feel because part of me did think like I wanted to lean down and be like, hey guys, I was a rapscallion too.
That would have never worked. Yeah.
And just, you got that. I know that I would have sat down and they would have been like, gay.
Yeah.
Or started throwing shit at me.
Sure.
And then it would have escalated because the rage, like it was also my own adrenaline. I was like, rarely have I felt like scared. Like, I'm like, I don't want to punch a kid or whatever. But I was so angry when they said
like,
that about my wife.
Made fun
Jenna
of my wife
cared
laughing.
Nothing. She was like, what? And I'm like, the honor of my wife.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally. So you were offended on behalf of your family, which is totally understandable. So it's like, I get it. The part that's like, the little sketchy part though is like, I notice whenever I start feeling like adrenaline like that, and like we're kind of like pumped out, I'm like, I'm not usually making the best decisions.
Definitely.
Right? Like, and even if the thing I'm deciding to do is like the right move, like I'm probably not in the best state to execute this right now. Cause like I'm too amped up. Right. And especially if you're dealing with like minors, it's like, it's one thing if you get into a fight with an adult.
Like would have swung at me or something, like, I don't know what I would have done.
So that goes to the second part. Like ethically, were you in the right? It's like, yeah, I think you probably were by my assessment, but like safety wise, like legally wise, like should you have done that? Probably not, Because that could have devolved. And like, this is where it's like, get Catherine in here. Because anytime I think about anything like this, she's just like, this is what happens. Is people do shit where they're pumped up and they make some decision, and sure, it can turn out fine. But then a lot of times it doesn't.
It's like when I talk to
the
my
police get involved.
When I've talked to my cop friends of like the time that I like tased somebody or physically assaulted someone who was stealing my bike. Those things that my cop friends like, every single day we have a call for some guy who's like you, who's like, well, in the old times, you can't take my car, and they get shot in the chest or stabbed because they're like, I'm doing the right thing. Everybody's just standing around. And he's like, observe and report. And like, sure enough, like, I did assess like, oh, these look like rich kids. But you don't know who has whatever or who's going to come back with something. Or you know what I mean?
Or maybe just one of the kids gets crazy and like you like put your hands under their armpit and they just like take a swing at you or something because they're amped up all of a sudden. It's like, what are the chances of this
maybe
happening?
They're on pot.
So it's like the risk versus consequence, right? Where it's like risk being like, how risky is this thing to happen, right? It's like the risk is probably pretty low that something bad's going to happen, right? Where it's like 9 times out of 10, what you did probably like that worked. But the consequence is separate, which is just like, if something bad does happen, it could be really bad.
Well, in hindsight, probably what I should have done because of liability, should have turned to the movie guy and been like, yep, he runs the movie theater and he is asking you to leave.
Sure.
And they probably, and enough people would have been like, yeah, get out of here. And they would have left, but it would have all befallen on this guy instead of me being like, well, that's how it's done.
Yeah.
Ship shape. Because I saw a Clint Eastwood movie when I was a child, you know?
Yeah. I mean, the fact that like you didn't want to rely on, you know, I don't know what the dude's name was. Give him a good name.
Turby.
Yeah, you didn't want to rely on Turby to like really execute this. You were like, I got to take this into my own hands.
This one's for Brad Pitt.
Yeah, like
when I see him,
for all the Brad Pitts.
Like, wow, you got those kids out of there. Whoa, wow.
What would Fight Club Brad Pitt have done?
You're a real hero.
So yeah, I think I'm glad it turned out okay. But yeah, I know
hope
if
they don't listen to this podcast
legally or you know just. Like streetwise, like I don't know if it was the right move because it could have gone
street
bad.
justice.
Yeah, street
this
justice.
This is how we do street justice in North Lake Tahoe.
We kick teens out of the movie theater.
Why don't you go over to T Rotisserie and chew on a wing and think about what you've done, you little snot?
All right. Well, I think it's a great story. I'm glad you're all right. I'm glad
the lowest stakes.
F1 was okay.
It was just okay.
I'll wait for it to show up on Apple Plus in 2 days, probably.
Yeah, probably.
But I mean, I like Top Gun Maverick. I'm sure it's good.
Top Gun's great. I got no problems.
All right. Let's take a break. I had to go in for a colonoscopy.
Oh,
my very
hell
first
yeah.
one. Yeah. And you had actually beat me to this. You had got your colonoscopy.
I only got mine because I was having poo-poo issues.
Yes. So you got a little early.
I got early and they said, your butthole's fine. What do you eat? And I said, I don't know, about a pound of cashews a day. And they said, have you ever looked at the FODMAP diet? And I said, spell that for me. And then I looked and the number one thing was like, don't eat cashews.
Don't eat cashews?
And I was like,
I've never heard of this.
Yeah, and it was, I think, grown up poor because cashews we only got for Christmas.
Sure, it was a big deal.
Because it was the 1860s.
And an orange. Got cashews
it
and an
was
orange.
during the Gilded Age. They were like, why are you here? And I'm like, for fun.
So you had to go in a little early to get it.
Went in a little early.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm at...
Did you do it over in Douglas Park?
No, I don't have like a regular guy.
You don't have Doug?
No.
It's the medical office. It
was somewhere in like Newport or something.
Some kind of alleyway.
Yeah, it was in Orange County somewhere.
Yeah, to do a back alley colonoscopy.
No, but yeah, I mean, it was
spiritual.
Leading up to it. No, I mean, whatever. I wasn't worried I had cancer or anything. My doctor was just like, hey, you're at the right age. You're 45. Like, you got to get a colonoscopy.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. Because it's 45 now. It was 40, which is why when I went at 40, they were like...
When you went at 27.
Also, when I went, I don't know, it was for you. In my mind, I was like, I'm the only patient of the day. They've read all my plays.
Yes, absolutely.
I get there. It's a fucking airport. They have a screen with
They are
like
churning them
order up.
Yeah.
Like all these people. There's all these.
They
these
strap you
people
to a
our
gurney and
age
slide you in.
with elderly people who are going like every fucking week. So there's just old people. They're like, Larry, it's time, and they're like,
Dude,
huh?
Yeah,
You're the
exact same
youngest one
experience.
there.
The waiting room is so funny because you see all these dudes that are in their mid 40s come rolling in, and then mixed with the oldest people in the world, and you're like, it's a very specific group. There's no women there. Like,
Definitely not.
Yeah,
but it was like when I got my vasectomy, there were all these old guys, and I'm talking fucking old,
because you're at the urologist,
right? But because I'm homeschooled and a little bit retarded, I was at the vasectomy office going, all these guys are getting a vasectomy? They're fucking in the nursing home. These guys are churning through that much coos. And then I asked him on the way out, I'm like, fucking Paul McCartney back there's getting the cast of Cocoon. And she goes, well, it's a urology office, the nurse. And I go, like boners? And she's like, well, you know, they wet them. I was like, I'm a dummy. I'm
this
a
isn't
dummy.
Vasectomies are us.
Yeah.
They're like, we do more than just vasectomies, buddy.
Oh God, how'd you like the devil's juice you had to drink before?
Oh my God. So
I chugged mine, which was a huge mistake.
Oh yeah. So I will say just the whole lead up to it where I was like, this isn't that big of a deal. Like, and then as I started getting closer, then like the place emails me or whatever. They're like, hey, we got a schedule, go through the thing. Right. And then they give me the prep for it. And I'm like, whoa. I had no idea this was the prep I was getting involved into. I just thought I was going to show up for a doctor's
You're like,
visit.
what am I, a woman?
Like, I thought it was going to be like an x-ray, or something. And they're like, nope. Like, we got to schedule this thing out. There's a huge cancellation fee. Depending on the time of day that you get it, like you can't eat or drink for like 48 hours.
I did have to cancel because my dad died. And they kind of did. They were like, did he die? I was like, yes. They were like, because rescheduling.
They don't mess around. Yeah, mine was the same way. It was like, I do not want to reschedule this thing. They really make you jump through some hoops.
The butt factory.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, like you can't eat 2 days beforehand and then you have to drink all this stuff that's the worst.
Yucky.
So gross. But I was like, drinking the gross stuff, I was like, whatever, I can power through it. I was so goddamn hungry by the time I got to that morning. I've never been that hungry in my life.
I think I cheated.
Did you really?
I think I cheated a little bit. And I remember like looking at the list and they were like, you didn't have any nuts, did you? And I was like,
are cashews a nut?
Yeah, I was like, is it a tree fruit or whatever?
Yeah.
Because they were like, yeah, the nuts really show up. And I'm like, what do you mean? And they were just like, it was like, I hope they didn't find all the bird seed I ate.
You've got like nut crumbs on your face.
Is that a raisin? I'm like, nope. I remember.
But you're not supposed to eat anything. It's literally
I know.
liquids, and Jell-O is the only thing you
These
can
are the
eat.
things like being married to a woman and like the shit that they went through having a baby. And then I'm like, ow, my balls or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they're going to make me wiener hurt or whatever. And she's like, shut the fuck up. Do you know what they did to me? You want to know the tools they used?
I know.
And you're like,
They have it
or
so
like
much
even just
harder than
having
us.
a vagina and like what they have to go through to get a,
Just regular checkups on things are so much more
and I'm
involved.
like, it's kind of gay if they touch my butt, you know?
I mean, I wasn't worried about that, but I was like starving. And the other thing leading up to it was I don't remember ever having to go under before.
Oh.
And I think I did. You probably remember I broke my hand a few years ago for mountain
picked
biking.
you up.
Yeah.
Picked you up from that.
For some reason, that didn't faze me when they did that.
You remember you woke up and
under.
you kissed me on the mouth and you were like, I've always...
No, that's the
you're
thing.
my
I don't
princess.
remember it.
You thought I was the princess bride.
Wesley? No.
You called me Princess Butter.
So I didn't remember that so much, but I was very cognizant of having to like go under this time. And I was kind of like, not freaking out about it, but I was definitely like thinking about it a lot. I was like, wow, like, I mean, this is serious. Like you're going under, like the complications happen, people die. Right. Yeah. And so I started getting very like emotional about it before I was going. Not that I was worried I had cancer, but just the fact of going under. And I was like, I don't know why it kind of freaked me out a little bit. I'm like, this is basically the closest you get to death, right? For sure.
For free.
Where your brain just gets completely shut off. You are unconscious. It's totally different than sleeping, right? There's no dreaming here. It's like 3, 2, 1, lights out. right? And so I was kind of freaking out about it a little bit. But then you go in and they are so good, man. And they just like, you're in that waiting room with the old people and the other dudes that are 45 and they just kind of churn you in and out. You get in there and they just really talk you into it. And they're like, okay, so you're going under. All of a sudden you're in a room with way more people than I expected.
Yeah.
There were like 8 people in that room. They're like, hi, I'm the anesthesiologist. Hi, I'm the first nurse. Hi, I'm the second nurse. Hi, I'm like her understudy. And then there's like the doctor and the co-doctor. You're just like, what is going on
did
here?
they give you, I thought they gave you a little thing to relax you first before the propofol, before the Michael Jackson drugs.
They didn't give me anything to relax me first. I mean, they just gave me that mask and it was like almost immediate. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I felt like a child because I went under when I was like 13 or maybe I was like 14, 15. I had like really bad planter's warts on my feet that I got at a summer camp. And they kept trying to get rid of it and like freezing them off for like years at this nasty Christian summer camp in Indiana.
You had plantar warts as a child?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, who knows how I got them the way I grew up.
Yeah,
they were like,
true.
It was from the summer camp. Could have been from the Y.
Who knows?
Could have been from the floors. Fucking medieval disease. But I remember being a kid and passing out and then waking up in the recovery room and telling like a nurse I was going to marry her. And it was very similar of just like, I closed my eyes and I opened back up and the lady was like, "Dude did a very good job, Mr. Rockborn." And I was like, "Why are you talking like that? You're black." No, she was an Indian woman. Gupta. She's great. I just woke up and I was like, fine. But you know what's scary though about the anesthesiologist? We have a very close anesthesiologist friend. And I was kind of talking to him about it because when I got my wisdom teeth out, when we lived in Chicago, I had to get knocked out because they were 4 impacted wisdom teeth.
Yeah.
And I had an out of body experience for the whole surgery. And I woke up, out of it. And I told them, I was like, oh, I was awake for the whole thing. I was below my body and I heard everything. They were like, no, you did it. And then I told them the score of the tennis game that they played and everything.
Sure.
And the orthodontist turned totally white. But I was like, hey, to my friend.
And they weren't supposed to put you on like because there's like a Twilight thing they can put you on too. What's that?
Right.
Yeah. And was that what this was? Or was this like, no, you were supposed to be out?
I was
like
supposed to be out.
Okay.
Because they were like sawing. I mean, when I woke up, it felt like I got my head bashed in with a bat. The pain was so
wisdom
severe.
teeth is no messing around.
The 4 impacted ones. So they were like sawing. They were hammering. They're putting like a fucking chisel in.
Jesus.
But my friend who's an anesthesiologist was like, because I had a lot of out-of-body experiences and paranormal stuff, and I was like, how do you know like when's enough? Like Kanye West's mom, like people who die all the time in Turkey and Mexico getting new butts and stuff, and he's like, we don't. There's still like all the studying you do.
He's like,
you
I
don't
have no
really
idea
know
what I'm doing.
It's like they don't really understand the physiological aspect of it. It's almost like they practice it. It's the equivalent of like somebody built a rocket and flew it into space and you're like, how does it work? And they're like, magic. We don't really know.
That's not what you want to hear from your anesthesiologist.
Concerning.
Yeah.
It's very concerning.
I really hope this information from your friend is spurious. And like,
I'm going to give his address.
Anesthesiologists are like, no, it's a real science. And like, it's based on like your body mass index and your age.
Maybe I was asking way too in-depth questions, but he was like, we kind of don't know.
We don't
just kind of like cross
Maybe
your fingers.
you were under anesthesia when you asked him this.
Yeah. This conversation never happened.
So anyway, I don't have cancer.
Okay.
Going under went fine.
So that's what you want.
It was great. Yeah. But it's been, not very frequently where like you kind of question your mortality and stuff. But when I was thinking about it, I was just like, yeah, like this feels like such a different thing with kids, right? When you start thinking about like your own death, which when you have young kids, it's like a real fear I have now that I never had before. I never really thought much about my own mortality before.
I mean, times that by 10 when you lose your dad in an accident.
My God, man, I bet.
And it's kind of like all you think about in a way.
I'm sure, because you're thinking about your effect on your children now. It's like...
No. I'm thinking about my one-man show and if it's going to be good.
Got it.
And I need to get it done before the kids... No, but yeah, of just like, will they remember me? What will they remember?
That's the most triggering thing. Like if we watch anything that's like, oh, this might trigger different people. Like if it's a parent dying, like a father dying with young kids, man, that gets me like every time.
Not
like,
a mother though.
No, I don't care as much.
Because if the mom dies, you're like, oh, cool. Good for Tom Hanks and Sleepless in Seattle. He gets to go get some coups around town.
No, we're all so selfish with like our emotions, right? I'm just like, no, it's the dad.
Were you
I'm the
also
dad.
selfish because you were like, my wife's going to have to explain that like a fucking dog, I died getting a colonoscopy.
I know,
They're like,
right?
oh, was it like he was in a war? And this
No,
she's like,
he was 45.
He's a fucking pussy.
Yeah.
And he died on the table with a tube up his ass.
Oh my God.
With a camera up his ass.
It seems horrible way to go.
But he left you this $3,000 bike.
Yeah. I
And
hope
they're
you like it.
Wow, he was fucking weird.
So that's really funny.
We're too embarrassed to tell you how your dad died.
Yeah, he died in the war.
Because it was the weakest fucking thing Also, my sister's in Portugal. She told me when you do up the medical costs here, it's like 16 grand to get a colonoscopy if you don't have insurance. Portugal, no insurance is $400.
I mean, so everything great. Colonoscopy, wonderful. Can't recommend it enough. Nothing to worry about.
Yep.
Propofol's great. You will question your own mortality though. But then like
you will be hungry.
So weird. When we were in Colorado, just a week or so or whatever ago, I got a message from one of my old coworkers, and he was like, "Hey, did you hear our old boss died?" I was like, "That guy's 3 years older than me." And I'm like, "What happened?"
He died on the table.
He was like the GM of some new hotel. I won't say the name or anything. He was just going for his morning run and had a heart attack and died. No pre-existing condition that anybody knew about or anything. Wow. And I was like, what the hell? Is this where we're at in life now?
This is where we're at.
Where it's just like people that are similar age to you just die for no reason?
Absolutely. Meaningless death is all around us. Good Lord,
this is horrible.
This is, I don't know if we talked about this. Meaningless death, quick deaths, randomness of deaths, constantly. Yeah. I don't know if this is just, I'm extra careful because of what happened to my dad, but even just like slowing down, like I was rushing over here and I was like, slow down.
Yeah, because chances are you're going to die in a car wreck, right? That's how we're going to go.
Or I'll hit, when we were in Tahoe, we were doing the zip lining. I went to the bathroom. It's like in a big public park, the big parking lot, really beautiful, like nature center. And I left the, outdoor bathroom, gazebo, whatever, went across the parking lot. There's a crosswalk in the parking lot. And I came 6 inches from getting hit by ironically, a Tahoe full of children that some very the
wealthy kids from the movie theater.
Yeah, it was them, but looked like their mom, like a very done up, injected mom. And I ended up confronting her later, where I saw her, and I was like, "Hey," I wasn't mad at her. I was just like, "Hey, there's been multiple pedestrian deaths this season in Tahoe." Because people weren't paying attention at crosswalks. The people in the car. I should have looked. You should have looked, and it was great.
It's a teachable moment for all of us.
It was a teachable. I should have said that. It was a teachable moment. But I was just like, oh my God, this car would have flattened me.
Sure,
I would have died. It would have ruined both of our vacations. But of just how random, how quickly it can be.
Yeah,
that's the thing of like a traumatic, shocking death is like. And I thought about that on the drive because I left Jen at our friends, and I was like, almost went through a light to not be late, but then other car sped up to go as soon as it turned green. I'm like, I would have hit that car, and I probably would have been fine, but it could have died. You don't know. And just when you see somebody, you're like, all right, bye. And then 5 minutes later, they're dead. And then you get the call an hour later, and you're like, what? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So, I agree with all of that. It feels like my feelings about it are probably very like cliche kind of, where you're just like, it really does make it where you're thinking just like, wow, just like this guy's perfectly healthy, no issues, and just dies kind of out of nowhere, no rhyme or reason. Right. And, I don't know. It was kind of a trip. So while we're on vacation,
what do you think about with dying? What's your biggest concern? Are you like, who's Catherine going to have sex with? Which one of my friends is going to try to bone her?
Sure.
Or are you like, what's my legacy?
No,
who's gonna
I
get
don't
my
think
stuff? Or are you like,
no.
Will they know? Is it more of like centered on you?
No, I don't.
Will I be remembered? Will they listen to Cry Havoc and some of my early punk records?
Any of the music I've created?
No, I do selfishly. I'm like,
no, I really don't.
I have this thing where I'm like, I gotta leave something beyond my Michael Jackson podcast and my Tom Cruise play or whatever. Like, have a leg, which is so like my kids don't care. They don't. My wife doesn't care. Like their thing is like, were you a good dad? Like all that. But to me, I have this thing of like, I'm chasing this beast.
Yeah, with like, we're both creative people and we create things. I write music and record a lot of music, and you have a variety of things that you create and work on. So you do think about that to a certain extent. Like what, does any of that mean anything after I die? Right. I don't think I really am concerned so much about that. I really I subscribe to like, it's the process kind of thing. Like I write and record music for the process of doing it, not for the end result. It's not that I'm not proud of the work that I do, but that's not the reason for doing it. Right. Like I enjoy doing it. I mean, I go out, to my little studio here many times throughout the week at night, when Catherine's getting ready for bed, and I'll just be like, yeah, I'm going to work on music. She'll be like, what are you working on? I'm like, I have no idea. Like, I just do it because I enjoy it.
When your kid gets hit or hurt, you're like, fuck, it was on my watch.
Oh, totally.
And you secretly are
feel
like,
guilty.
I wish that they split their chin open on their bike when my wife was watching
then
them.
I wouldn't be in trouble.
Like, well, that like you almost want it to be like your spouse's fault that you get injured or die.
Whenever
it's like
you're
if I die, I want it to be I fell off the roof because my wife was like,
she did something.
We really need to hang these Christmas lights early this season.
I mean, you're really throwing stones here. I broke my leg falling off the ladder hanging Christmas lights.
I forgot all about that.
Oh, you just forgot about that.
I didn't know she talked you into it.
No, she didn't talk.
You didn't break your femur though, right?
No, I broke my tibia. I don't know.
Yeah.
One of the lower leg bones.
I also drove you to the hospital for that.
I don't think. Did you?
I drove you to.
No, you picked me up.
I picked you up.
Picked me up. Yeah, we
I'm
got
your
there.
Go-to call. Yeah. I also feel like, in regards to old things, I feel like I've drove you to the wrist surgery. I picked you up for that. I feel like there's been several others where I've been like, I can't. I've got a thing.
Well, I tried to get you for the colonoscopy, and you were like, I'm out.
I really wanted to though.
I thought that would have been funny to like record the whole experience.
You know what? I can't remember why I didn't.
I think you didn't want to.
Yeah, I think I just said I don't want to.
Yeah. All right, we're going to do our recommendations this week. This is a book, I can't remember where I heard about it, but I heard about it on some podcast or maybe even a friend told me. I can't remember now. And the book's called The Knowledge, How to Rebuild Civilization in the Aftermath of a Cataclysm.
It's called The Knowledge?
And yeah, it's called The Knowledge. And then
I hate when people type. I'm just going to I'm going to shit on your recommendation.
Go ahead. I didn't write the book.
Those kind of titles.
Yeah, I actually don't care for it either. Where they're like, there's probably been 1,000 books called The Knowledge. So I read this book, and after it, I was like, for Father's Day, I'm getting this book for my father-in-law and for my father. And I was telling my wife about it after I read it, and she was like, this is such a dad book. This is the
what about
most
me?
Dad book. No, this book isn't for you, Brandon.
Oh.
No.
Because I like a hotel.
As I was saying it, I was just like, you're right. This is such a dad book. It's so dorky. So it's literally like about like, if civilization completely crashes, right? We're talking like down to zero. Everything's destroyed. How would you literally rebuild like the different facets of society? And each chapter focuses on it. And each chapter's pretty short. Each chapter's just a few pages long, right?
Is it kind of Genghis Khan, like you go to different areas and sexually assault every woman in the village and get them pregnant?
We're looking to not repeat the horrors of the past year.
Okay.
But it'll be like, okay, like first things first, you're going to need food and water. So here's how you would filter water if you literally had nothing, right? You're starting from like zero. It'd be like, well, you need to get a hold of some charcoal. Here's how you can make charcoal. Is it a bunch
of like graphs? Like I have like a How to Stay Alive in the Woods book.
No, I did the audiobook, right? So I did not see, any attached PDFs.
I would retain nothing from this.
Each chapter, I was like, oh, so that's how, like, I'm like, how would you recreate a system of measurements? It's like, well, you would use the metric system and this is how you would do it. And like, when you actually like pull water up a tube, it maxes out at 10 meters. And so you could base your first unit of measurement off that. And as I was describing to Catherine, like I saw her fall asleep like in front of me.
I'm doing it right now.
You are.
My plan is to just follow you. Can you imagine the amount of fights you and I would get in of you being like, I need you to like make a filtration system.
Sure.
I'd be like, got it. And you'd come back and I'd be like, oh, what'd you say? And
You and
like,
Henry would come back and be like, huh?
I want to make one of these books, but every chapter is just like, so kill them and take
their electricity producing device.
But it's like, it'd be like how to create a heating system, blah, 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 and insulate. And it's like a really long chapter heading. And then it's just like, find somebody who has one, kill them.
Yeah. Take it over. So
is it rebuilding a society or just like...
It's kind of it's how would you rebuild the different facets of like our society in order to like survive?
So is there like a forming a democracy chapter?
It didn't get quite into forming governments, no. But it did get into like, how would you...
It's like chapter 4. Lobbying.
Yeah. Just everything. No, but it's like, okay, you're going to need some sort of method of transportation at a certain point because you're going to need resources that are further away than you can walk.
It's a chapter on how to build a bicycle.
So it'll be like bicycles are efficient, but you could easily take the next step and jump into building like a crude form of a vehicle. You're like an automobile, right?
Or kill somebody. Is it a cataclysmic event? Like nuclear warfare?
I mean,
does it regionally, like I remember reading...
It's assuming the whole world gets dropped down to zero.
From what?
Well,
what is zero? There's no vehicle?
That's the prequel, I guess, right? Zero is like...
the prequel's called The Previous Knowledge.
The knowledge of Afro days.
Because if there's nothing...
Sure.
Then there's like nothing to build a car with because of a nuclear attack.
You have to figure out how to refine
have you ever read
metals.
The end of Oil by like William Kunstler, where it like graphs out like how we're running out of crude oil and petrol, but it has the second half of the book is like how each region within the United States will hypothetically dissolve over the next 100 years. And it's like, for instance, the West Coast in California, from Baja all the way up to like Washington, it's like slowly as California dies, it runs out of resources. Japanese fishing boats will start to come offshore, and then eventually Japan will take it over. And then, the South will be a total disaster because of all their racism and, reliance on Walmart and big box stores, and because they didn't have anything before air conditioning and cars. But then like the Midwest and the upper Midwest will be like the most survivable because they have a river transport system, and their small town governments are usually like pretty well, and there's not a lot of racial strife and this and that, versus like the East Coast, and it'll get taken
it's all
over.
regional. I get it.
Blah, blah, blah. But this is just like we're at zero.
Yes. So you have to this book focuses on like, okay, we're not going to get into that. And it kind of mentions some of that in the beginning. Like, we're not focused on like what brought the society to this event or, so on and so forth. It's like, let's just start with the premise that like, we're at zero. You need to figure out how to make glass, because glass is really important for figuring out medicine, and you need to be able to conduct experiments so you can invent drugs to save people's lives. So it's like, so how are we going to make glass?
But it doesn't get into like coming up with... what did Jonas Salk? Like, it doesn't get into
polio vaccine.
It doesn't get into making vaccines. It's just like make the glass. I feel like there's a lot of holes in this book. Like the editor was like, so you want him to make glass for medicine, but how does he know how to be a doctor? He's like, no. Once again, we're at zero. Okay. And they're like, yeah. But when you get to 5, he's like, no. We're not getting that. We're just getting to refining metals and glass.
Yeah. So we're getting to like step 1, and it'll like, it tries to do its best. I mean, these are funny comments on it, but it tries to do its best where it's literally like, listen, we're not going to get into every single disease and germ and piece of bacteria that's out there. You're going to have to get more specialized books for some of these things. But they're like, but just to get to like step 1 or 2 here, this is what we need to start with, right?
So this is definitely going to be a series of books.
I mean, I suppose it could be. Which would be like the encyclopedia, knowledge. Right?
Now that's what I call knowledge. Volume 16.
Knowledge 3.0.
Bullets. I think you just unrecommended this fucking book.
This book is fantastic. How dare you? It's great. Highly recommend. It's a really easy read. That's my recommendation this week. The Knowledge by Lewis Dartnell. Dartnell.
Does he have any qualifications? I think he sounds like my
He's
dad.
a snake oil salesman, this guy.
Louis Snake Oil Dartnell.
I mean, I can look up and see, what else this guy has done, but I enjoyed this book. All right.
I think he like is a veteran of the For Dummies books, and he was pitching the knowledge book for decades to now that's what I call dummies people. PC for Dummies.
No, he's got a lot of great books. I'm looking him up on Amazon right now. The book before this is called The Origins. So,
and what's that about? How to make sand? Listen, They're Fine is produced and edited by Wyatt Gray. Original music by John Ahern. John's Instagram is @JohnAhernMusic. And you can find my inappropriate parenting on Instagram @Bubba Ogborn. You can also find our recommendations linked in the show notes. If you have feedback or topic suggestions, our show email is listentherefine@gmail.com. And our TikTok and Instagram handles are @ListenThey'reFine. If you made it this far without calling Child Protective Services on us, please leave us a 5-star review. It helps other questionable parents find us. Share the chaos, tell a friend, tell your therapist, tell anyone who needs to feel better about their own parenting choices. Hit subscribe so you never miss an episode.